1 million dead in the war between Russia and Ukraine. Hurricane Helene victims have been forgotten about, but there's years of recovery ahead. But what we're focused on is drones flying across New Jersey. Is it just propaganda attempting to shape our minds, our beliefs, our thoughts? The New Jersey drones, a harmless mystery, a government cover-up, aliens. What exactly is going on? Is there a sinister motive behind this focus on the New Jersey drones? Most recently, I heard that there was some missing radioactive material and that these drones are seeking this radioactive material that has gone missing. My top secret super spy intel guy high in the administration tells me, seriously, I do have a friend that knows some things behind the scenes. He tells me that some of the drone footage that he's seen are drones that are specifically designed to seek out some of this material. This missing radioactive material, perhaps. So that's very interesting. Propaganda is literally everywhere. Everything that you see, everything that comes in front of you on your screen, whether you're looking at a computer, a TV, or your phone, it's all propaganda. Propaganda, marketing, all of the news, all of these things are steering you in a certain direction. They are designed and implemented to direct your way of thinking, what you believe. Everything from the ground up, what you believe, has been influenced by propaganda in some form or fashion. What I want to encourage us to do together is be free thinkers and to really think, really consider all of the variables and all of the options to the best of our ability, and not get caught up in the slogans and in the headlines, in these fear-invoking. It'd be very easy for me to do that in each and every single one of my videos. If I was to put these bright red exclamation points and the urgent, emergency, act now stuff on my titles, my views would go up 100%, but I know that that is wrong. If a message that I need to get across is super important, could I potentially use propaganda as a tool to get this really important message that I know is going to be good for you? I can use propaganda for good. Not everybody does that. Most people, I would say most people, use propaganda in some form or another in a bad way. A lot of these dishonest approaches to marketing would be easy for me to do. I could definitely boost my views and gain a lot of subscribers by being dishonest and evoking some sort of fear tactic to boost my views. For sure, without question, I could do that. And that's exactly what, Fox News and CNN and all of those do. The city preppers, the Canadian preppers of the world, those types of people want that. They want to make you afraid and just to gain clicks. And that's not what I want to do. What's actually going on? I don't believe anything these days. I almost immediately believe that whatever I see on the news is a lie. And it's either very, very small portions of it are true and everything else is a lie, or it's just outright complete lie altogether. There was a time in history when people relied heavily, if not completely, on the elites for their information, whether it came from their church leaders or government officials of some sort. 1700s, 1800s came along, and a whole lot of people started becoming literate. They could read, and then the printing press came around, and then information started to spread widely. Now we have the crazy advancement of the internet, where information is at our fingertips at a moment's notice, but yet, still, what can you actually believe? What I want to do is inspire you to be a critical thinker. When did we learn to read? The 1700s and 1800s, people on a large scale became literate. And because they were literate, they were able to take in information. They were able to gain more knowledge on various different subjects and just become more educated in general. Mass education systems all over the world started becoming a thing, especially in the Western world, Europe and America. And then now we couldn't just, the kings and queens of the world couldn't just tell everyone what to do hands down, because people had opinions now. People had various forms of information that they could take in and and build their own opinions on what should happen. Now, because of high literacy rates, there were more educated free thinkers than ever. Countries that developed universal education systems, public education systems, were able to create more inventions. They had more ideas. Countries like the US and Japan had way more advancements in technology than countries that had lower literacy rates. Literacy was no longer just for the wealthy. The rise helped spark the Industrial Revolution, which led to crazy advancements in technology, machinery, all sorts of things that helped us make our lives easier. So in the 19th century, information was spread far and wide. Newspapers and journals, and now that people could read more often than not, they were able to take in this information and they could form their own opinions about what was going on. They were able to receive lots of varying different opinions of an information about what was going on in the world around them. And you couldn't have a king sitting over top of them suddenly saying, just spewing out what he thought should be done, and people just accept it. They would receive more backlash now that people were more educated and more informed on what was going on. I want us to think outside the box. I want us to be critical of everything. Every piece of information that you see or hear, you need to be critical of it and think why. Why am I hearing this? Why does it make me feel the way that I feel? Does it make me afraid? Does it invoke some sort of emotion in me? Because it's most likely designed to do so. And just like all of the headlines, all of the titles on all the YouTube videos, the urgent, act now, it's too late, like all of those clickbaity titles that I've had fun with from time to time, almost never use them, but I've jokingly used them in my videos before. You know, the urgent, act now, emergency, it's happening, with all the exclamation points and stuff. It's to invoke some sort of usually fear in you so that you click on the thing and watch the video. They not only appeal to the individual by means of every approach, visual, graphic, and auditory, to support the national endeavor, but they also secure the cooperation of the key men in every group, persons whose mere word carried authority to hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers. These are exactly the same tactics that are going on right now. Key influential people, all they have to do is say, if they're a trusted person in a community, all they have to do is say something, and suddenly thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people perhaps will go along with it and believe exactly what they say. Now, I'm not saying that all these people are out to do wrong. I'm not saying all these people are attempting to be mischievous and evil and direct you to do evil tasks or deeds or support evil missions. I'm not saying that at all, but the very influential, really popular people of the world, such as like your Donald Trumps or perhaps your Joe Rogans, or people of that stature that everyone knows who they are. It's a common household name now. All they have to do is say one thing, and your mind could possibly, very likely be persuaded in a certain direction because you follow them, because you believe in them and you trust them. Who is trustworthy? Just because you have a bajillion followers doesn't necessarily mean you are trustworthy. Just because I have the number of subscribers that I have doesn't mean I'm a trustworthy person. Doesn't mean that you should just blindly believe the things that I am saying. You should do your own research. You should go out and investigate these things for yourselves. You should, if possible, lay eyes on these things personally so you can actually see and witness them for yourself. If that's not possible, you need to be reaching out to various different outlets, lots of different places, so you can form a well-educated opinion of what's actually going on. Because otherwise, if you're just believing one very narrow corridor of information coming from one news outlet, perhaps, which a lot of people are fans of doing. They just follow one singular form of information. You're going to be led astray, most likely. So it's reported that there's 1 million dead in the war in Ukraine. What is that? Is that even true? Are those numbers inflated? Are those numbers underestimating how many people are dead? We don't know the truth. Regardless of where you get your information, you don't know. You weren't there. You didn't count the bodies. As morbid as that sounds. So we don't know. Who is really the enemy? Why do you believe that Russia is the enemy? Why do you believe that Ukraine, the leaders of Ukraine, are good? Why do you believe that? You're believing it because that's what you've been led to believe, most likely. And I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that you believe these things because of the information that you've taken in, the various forms of information. So my question is, how do we know what to believe? And that's the really frustrating thing for me, is I never know what to believe. How do I know who to stand behind, who to support? It's always a question mark. You never know, because you can't believe the information that's coming in because it's various forms of propaganda. It's really difficult for me to get behind these war efforts and to support one side or the other because of that. That's why I'm not picking a side. I'm not picking Israel or Palestine. I'm not picking Ukraine or Russia. Because I don't know the truth. I don't know what is actually happening. And you may have such strong beliefs. You may think that, yes, how dare you? Like, how could you not support Israel or Palestine or whatever? How could you know that you don't know what's happening? These pictures that you're seeing could be outright lies and fakes. I know that this stuff happens. I know the propaganda is lies. I know that, like, I've got a buddy that was in a war zone. He was literally in this area live. He was there, feet on the ground, and he happened to have a news feed going on, and it said live. And it was coverage of the place that he was standing in, and it was clearly not live, and it wasn't even the actual location where he was. It was a complete lie, complete propaganda, not true at all. But what it did is it invoked an emotion in the people that watched it. It inspired people to act, behave, vote, believe a certain thing or a certain way. It was, of course, the astounding success of propaganda during the war that opened the eyes of the intelligent few in all departments of life to the possibilities of regimenting the public mind. And that is the part that's frustrating to me, and that's the part that it makes it difficult for me to stand behind anything that I can't see. In my local community and things that I can see and touch and feel, the people that I can talk to face, yes, I have a dog in that fight. But when it comes to something thousands and thousands of miles away that I have no idea what's actually happening or what's true, it's really difficult for me to get behind it. Don't take your literacy for granted. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. The people that came before us fought for the privileges, the rights, the ability to read books. They fought for these things and they died for these things. So let's not take that stuff for granted. Let's use it for good. Let's not abuse it. Let's use it for good to accomplish really good things. Let's allow our abilities to read and write and to produce YouTube videos and other digital media. Let's use these tools to do powerfully good things in our communities. That's what I want to encourage each of us to do. Friends, I thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Love to talk about this stuff in the comments section. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on through.